Sometimes you just want to enjoy your coffee without being protested. So this is Red Rock Amphitheater. I'm breathing, so I climbed up all those steps. That's a pretty awesome place here in Denver. Check it out. So yeah, Reno and ChaserCon was pretty fun. Got to see a lot of old friends and drive in some snow. That was interesting, but I made it home safe. So today we're gonna go play a standard tournament back here in Medford again. Get back into the swing of normal things. But yeah, over the course of about 4 days, I lost about $650 playing cash games. So I've had to slow down in that arena. I was actually up over $1,100, so I'm still in the positive about $400 in my cash games. So hoping for a win tonight, beef up the bankroll a little bit more, but I'm also starting to deal poker at the local club, so that will help to beef up my bankroll too. Well, before I go play some poker, I'm going to go head down to Malello's, grab some coffee, hang out, and watch some poker on my iPad for a little bit, and enjoy the day. So yeah, getting protested on while I'm drinking coffee at Malello's. I don't know what's going on there. You know, you can protest the president, you can protest oil companies, you can protest whatever you want, but you protest coffee, I'm gonna have an issue with you. So I don't know what that was all about. Actually, I do know what that was about. That was about the president. That seems to be what everybody's protesting these days. Do what you need to do. I'm staying out of it, just trying to drink some coffee. But for now, let's go play some poker. So we're back at the club here in Medford playing the standard tournament with a $25 buy-in, $10 optional add-on, and a $20 optional add-on at the break. We are at 100, 200, look down to see Jack Queen off. Under the gun raises to 600 and we call. We get one other caller, so we go 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes out ace, 3, 8 of diamonds. So there's 4 diamonds to a flush with our jack of diamonds. Initial raiser checks, so we make a small bet of 700 and we get 2 callers going into the turn. Turn is a 5 of diamonds, so we've hit a flush. Small blind checks again. We check behind to camouflage the strength of our hand, and the cutoff position checks as well. Turn is a king of clubs. Small blind leads out for 2,000. We call, hoping the cutoff position will call or raise. He folds, we turn over our jack of diamonds, and it is good. So we win our first played hand of the tournament.
200 to go.
On this hand, the blinds are at 200, 400, and we are in the big blind and look down to find Jack 6 off. It limps around to us, and so we go ahead and check and take a free look at the flop.
Well, you guys, if you sit next to
The
each other,
flop comes out Jack 6-9 with 2 diamonds, so we hit 2 pair. We decide to check to camouflage the strength of our hand. The middle position also checks, and the cutoff bets 600. We just call, and the middle position calls as well, so we go 3-handed to the turn. The turn is a queen of clubs. We decide to check, and the middle position checks. The cutoff now makes it 1,000. I decide to raise it up to 2,500, just to get some more value out there with my 2 pair. The middle position folds, and the cutoff calls. The river is a 5 of diamonds, so a flush just got there, so I'm a little bit wary of that. I decide to check, and the cutoff checks behind. He turns over ace-9, so our 2 pair ends up winning the hand. In this hand, we're sitting at under the gun +1. The blinds are now at 3-6. We look down to see king 10 off. Under the gun had limped ahead of us, so we limp as well. I usually don't like to limp in early position, but because we have a limper ahead of us, we can disguise the weakness of our hand a little bit. We get 2 more limpers in late position, and then the big blind decides to raise it up to 1,200 from 600, so min raise. Under the gun calls. We're going to call here because it's a min raise and we're getting the odds to call. The 2 in the late position call as well, so we go 5-handed to the flop. The flop comes out ace-10-8 rainbow, and it ends up checking all the way around, so we really don't know what anyone has, although we do have second pair with a good kicker. The turn is a queen, and once again it checks all the way around, so our 10 is starting to look fairly good. On the river, another queen comes up. This time the under the gun player bets 2,000. We go ahead and call because our 10 does have some showdown value here. It folds around the rest of the way. He turns over a queen, so we lose this hand. Which brings up this week's learning moment. So in tournament play, position really is important, and king 10 off isn't the best hand to be playing in early position. I usually like to have a hand strong enough to enter the pot by raising rather than limping, and there are times where I will limp in if someone has limped in before me, but in this case, this hand got us into a little bit of trouble, and it could have got us into a lot of trouble had I had like 2 pair and there were 3 queens. The better play here is just to fold king 10 in early position. Now in late position, king 10 is a great hand to have, especially if you're on the dealer button and it's been limped around to you, you can raise. But here I should have just folded, and even though I played the hand fairly well, I still lost 3,200 in chips. So today's learning moment is remember your position and play your hands accordingly. So in this hand, the blinds are at 2,000, 4,000. We're sitting in the big blind. Middle position raises it up to 8. The player on the button decides to call, and we look down and see ace king off. So we decide to 3-bet, make it 18,000 to go. Both the middle position and dealer button call, so we go 3-way to the flop. The flop comes out 10-7-8 with 2 clubs. This is my first time 3-betting pre-flop in this tournament, so I decide to rep a really strong hand like aces, and so I make a continuation bet. I make it 20,000 to go. Middle position quickly folds, and the button thinks for quite some time and makes a hesitant call. And the player on the button is a new player. She likes to be in a lot of hands, and she follows her draws regardless of the odds that she's getting. So I'm putting her on a draw here. The turn is a 7 of hearts, so neither of the draws that are out there get there. And I don't have enough to fire 3 bullets at this point, so I just go ahead and shove, making my biggest bluff yet of the tournament. The button tanks. She thinks for a really long time, and she finally reluctantly folds, so we take down a really big pot here. As we near the end of the tournament, we're fairly short-handed, and I have a fairly short stack. I'm looking for any good hand to shove with at this point because the blinds are so high. And in this instance, I actually look down and find aces, so of course we're going to shove here. And we get called by someone that has pocket 7s. There's an ace in the window, so we're looking pretty good. On the turn, a 7 comes, so right now it's over set. And the only card that can beat us is another 7, which doesn't come, so we double up on this hand. And in this hand, we're relatively short stacked still, so we decide to shove on the button with king 9 of hearts, and we get called by the small blind who has pocket 4s. The flop, turn, and river are of no help to us, and we bust out of the tournament before we hit the cash. No winner today.